in a semi-public parking garage, so I can't really do all the mechanic work here that I need, but I'm going to try to get into the valley of death without removing the fuel lines. So I'm going to take off whatever I need, including the air intake, but try to avoid to remove any fuel related components because they work fine. I don't need to adjust them, and I can't really work with the fluids where I'm at right now. So I'm going to start by removing the air filter box. You need to disconnect these two wires from the kickdown micro switch. Green and black goes on the top, and the black goes on the bottom. Now I'm going to need to remove the W pipe, which are connected with these bolts. I'll remove them from here, and hopefully I can still keep them attached to the meter unit. This piece will be staying in the car. As you can see, I have covered all the openings up so nothing falls down. I need to remove this ground bolt. These mounts, there are two of them. Seems kind of stuck. I don't want to break it, so I'm going to attempt the lower one, which does not seem stuck. I used a magnet to pick it up. Next, I'll be taking the idle speed motor off. I'll remove this connection first, and then I'll loosen these screws. And now I'll remove the hose clamp from here the idle speed motor. And then you can separate the air pipe. And then you can remove the idle speed motor from the other connection hose. And there you have it. And then you can remove this pipe. And then remove this vacuum hose. And from the back of the intake, you need to remove these vacuum hoses and this electrical connector. Then you need to remove the throttle arm by removing this clip. You pull it out like this. Don't lose it. Okay, so to be able to lift this part up, I realized that I also need to remove this fuel line. Unfortunately, it's the one for the cold start valve. I've already loosened this one and removed it. So you're gonna need 2 new copper washers to seal that one with. And I also had to pull the number 3 injector because this hose is so short. But that's easy. You just pry these clips loose and pull straight up. Goes into that hole and originally ran behind these. So now you're actually able to lift this one up and loosen the cold start valve pipe and get to the bolts, the 4 11mm bolts that attaches the air intake manifold to the car. To remove these 2 bolts from the throttle body to get it off the manifold. Got it. So it's still attached here at this bolt, but it's loose from the intake manifold. So now I've got the mixture unit loose and supported by this wooden stick, and the manifold is also loose. I also seem to be having to remove this injector 6, because the manifold hits it right there when I try to lift it. Okay, same thing with injector 1 over here. It catches on the manifold, so I need to pop that one. I also had to loosen this hose bracket that is attached here, but it snapped, but should be fairly easy to drill out that one once the manifold is out. Okay, so to be able to get the manifold out, it seems like you have to pop all these injectors. This is number 2. I've already popped 1 and 3 on this side, and I'll probably have to pop the other ones on that side as well. So here is number 5 injector. Once you pop the little ring off, then you can just lift them up. Number 6 was trickier to get to, but it's actually not too bad. As you can see, the intake is out. You have to trick it a bit, but it comes out and under this harness. I lifted it out on the passenger side. So this is the valley of death, and as you can see, I have a significant coolant leak, and that's why I'm doing this. I haven't figured out yet where it comes from, but it's probably the, well, I'll have to look into it. But, there you go, taking the intake manifold off and keeping the metering unit and all but one fuel hose in place. The injectors had to be popped off, but that wasn't too bad. So onwards.